Pilots have ice in their veins. They don't have emotions. They think, anticipate. They know that fear and other concerns cloud your mind from what's going on and what you should be involved in. Buzz Aldrin. Airplanes and Aerodynamics. Here's the battle plan. We're going to start off with a short scenario. I'll give you the opportunity to talk about adverse yaw. We'll get into airplanes and aerodynamics, and we'll do a quiz and assign some homework. As usual, if you have any questions, you can always use the chat function or send me a message directly on Discord. So here's the scenario. We're cruising at 10,000 feet. You're descending to land at an airport at sea level. As you get closer to the airport, you experience engine roughness, vibration, loss of power, high EGT. What might this be a sign of? So this is a sign of detonation. This is an explosion of the fuel-air mixture inside the cylinder, and it may be caused by an overly lean mixture. This can lead to overheating and engine damage, so make sure you are adjusting your mix as you're descending to land at a new airport. You want to monitor your engine temperature and enrich as needed. Always refer to the Pilot Operating Handbook. So let's hear it. What is adverse yaw in your own words? Let's talk about ice now. There are a couple of flavors of ice that we need to worry about. They are clear, rime, mixed, and frost. So clear is glossy, clear, or translucent ice, and it's relatively slow freezing of large supercooled water droplets. Rime ice is rough, milky, and opaque, and it's instantaneous freezing of small, supercooled water droplets. Mixed is a mixture of the two. Frost is when crystals are deposited by sublimation, and the temperature and the dew point are both below freezing. So in your own words, explain clear, rime, and mixed ice. Clear is glossy, clear, or translucent, and rime is rough, milky, and opaque. Mixed is a mixture of the two. And how does ice affect flight? Well, if you think about it, ice is really not good for us. It can decrease our lift by up to 30% and increase our drag by up to 40%. It also adds a lot of weight to the aircraft, so it makes it difficult for us to climb out of the conditions. So ice is not fun. What would you do in the event of icing? The best thing you can do is get out of the icing conditions, whether that's climb or descend to warmer altitude or fly away from visible moisture. Let's talk about ground effect. This is a result of the interference of the ground with the airflow patterns about an airplane. It's essentially a cushioning effect as you get closer to the ground. It happens within the length of the airplane's wingspan above the ground, and it's most often recognized when the airplane is less than half a wingspan above the ground. Ground effect may cause floating when you're landing or permit an aircraft to become airborne with insufficient airspeed to stay in flight. Your airplane may settle back after lifting off the surface if you're still in ground effect. The best thing you can do is follow your manufacturer's guidelines for rotate speed and climb out speeds. So remember, ground effect feels like a cushion of air when you're close to the ground. So you see here, we're pretty close to our stall speed and we're just hanging out right above the surface. All right, let's review icing. In your own words, explain clear, rime, and mixed ice. How does ice affect us in flight, and what would you do in the event of icing? Now, in your own words, explain ground effect. Ground effect is the result of the interference of the ground with the airflow patterns about an airplane. Where is it encountered? Within the length of the airplane's wingspan above the ground. So what causes an airplane to turn? It's the horizontal component of lift. A lot of people think it's the rudder, but the rudder is actually used to control yaw. Let's draw our airplane really quick. Here's my terrible airplane. Typically when we're flying, our lift vector is purely vertical. Our wings are generating lift completely vertical. When we roll the wings, now we've changed the direction of our lift. So now we have a vertical component and a horizontal component of lift. And it's this horizontal component of lift that turns the aircraft in the direction that we want to. The rudder actually controls our coordination. Whenever you're turning the aircraft, you should feel pulled straight down into your seat. If you're ever feeling pulled out or in toward the inside of the turn, then you are uncoordinated. And that's actually uncomfortable for your passengers. We want to use the rudder pedal on that side and step on the ball. So left rudder in this case and right rudder in this case. And the objective is to have the ball centered for a coordinated turn. An airplane that is inherently stable is an airplane that returns to its original position after being disturbed. A stable aircraft requires less effort to control, and the location of our center of gravity determines our longitudinal stability. Airplanes tend to pitch down when power is reduced because the downwash on our elevators from the propeller slipstream is reduced and the elevator effectiveness is reduced. Remember that a CG that is too far aft may make it impossible to recover from a stalled condition. Typically, an aircraft with an aft CG becomes less stable at all airspeeds. Let's talk about stability. There are 3 different types of stability that we think about. There's positive static stability, neutral static stability, and negative static stability. I like to think of it as putting a ball inside of a bowl for positive static stability. If you displace the ball to either side of the bowl, it will generally return back to its original position. That is positive static stability. If you place a ball on a table and you push it or you nudge it, the ball is going to roll away and settle back in a different location. And negative static stability is like putting a ball on top of an inverted bowl. If you nudge it, it's going to not only diverge, but it's going to go even farther out of whack and not return to any stable position. In our aircraft, positive static stability, it looks like when you have the aircraft trimmed for one situation, you nudge the controls, and the aircraft might oscillate a little bit and then return back to its original position. In neutral static stability, our aircraft may be trimmed for one pitch attitude, but if we nudge the controls, the aircraft will oscillate and then settle in a new position rather than the position we want it in. And in negative static stability, if we nudge the controls on our aircraft, the aircraft will oscillate and eventually become completely out of whack. Let's review. What causes an airplane to turn? It's that horizontal component of lift. And what is the purpose of the rudder? It's to control yaw. What are the 3 types of static stability? There's positive static stability, neutral static stability, and negative static stability. All right, pause the video here. Take 5 minutes to write down what you can remember from the lesson, and then we'll get into our quiz. Ready? Pause. All right, let's hit it. How will frost on the wings of an airplane affect takeoff performance? Frost will disrupt the smooth flow of air over the wing, adversely affecting its lifting capability. Ground effect is most likely to result in which problem? Becoming airborne before reaching recommended takeoff speed. What force makes an airplane turn? It's that horizontal component of lift. What determines the longitudinal stability of an aircraft? It's the location of the center of gravity with respect to the center of lift. The angle between the chord line of an airfoil and the relative wind is known as the angle of attack. All right, that's our quiz for the day. My recommendation is to go read up on the 4 basic flight maneuvers. Check out a pilot operating handbook for your aircraft, and then read up on the Airplane Flying Handbook and the Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge. Remember, you can always use this website to get more practice, and come back to my website here for additional resources. I would love to hear your feedback. If you want to send me direct feedback, you can use the member chat function, or you can submit feedback at the end of the quiz here. And here are my references. Thanks for watching. See ya.